Hey people, so I want to talk about consent. Um, there's been a lot of stories out there recently that the issue of consent seems to have come up. Um, One of the ones recently was a situation where a 18-year-old girl was coerced into signing a sex slave contract for life, and then raped every day, beat every day, and she was so brainwashed into this, it took her 6 years to finally get out of the situation, and the guy's now currently going to be probably spending the rest of his life in jail, hopefully. He might have gotten a less sentence. I think he got 20 years or something. Which honestly, if he survives the 20 years, I would be shocked. But a piece of paper is not consent. As a previous video I dealt with, slave contracts are not worth the piece of paper they're written on. You can have anybody sign anything. That doesn't mean it's legal. That doesn't mean it has any value. In fact, most likely, if it comes down to it, it'll probably be used against you. And this has happened more than one time, where something as simple as a basic slave contract is used against you in a court of law. A piece of paper is not consent. Consent is something that has to be given every single time that you are going to play. This is why safe words are vital. Consent is something that no matter what it is you're doing, something big, something small, something short-term, something long-term, consent needs to be got almost every single time. It doesn't matter if they call you master. It doesn't matter if you have a collar around their throat. It doesn't matter if you have a piece of paper that they signed. If they say no and mean it, and you continue, you could go to jail. That's just the point-blank reality of the situation. This has happened way too many times, where you would think that by now people would get it. Instead, what they do is they do stupid shit that makes people like me look like the bad guy. And I know I keep saying that, but there's this case that I'm going to probably put a link to the Young Turks video on this, which, by the way, I do have to commend them for dealing with this situation, because they didn't go to the hyperbole, on all the BS. They basically went off on a tangent about the drug war, which I thought was kind of funny. But the fact that they just kind of went, there it is, and left it, was great. Now, the thing about it is that you have a situation where just because you coerce somebody into signing a piece of paper and think you can hold them against their will, you're wrong. This is one of the reasons why I tell people, if you want to see the real people who are in this community, get out into the public. Go to the public meetings. Go to public munches. Go to public events. Go to the play parties. Go to private parties. Go to any of these things. And get out there and actually get to see the people who are really in the community. Because if these people didn't want to do this, they wouldn't be there. This was a situation where this girl was trapped in this house for 6 years. And unfortunately, he used what we do to entice her into doing this. When it started, I think she was a babysitter or something when she was 16, and he spent 2 years, training, trying to convince her that being a sex slave is the ultimate thing for her to be, and the reality was that was nowhere near the truth. The thing is that this person, what was even worse is that the wife was involved. She saw it. She was there every day. He let other people come over and use her. And no one thought 2 seconds to think, let me see if I check to see if this is okay with everybody. No, of course they didn't. Because they don't understand consent. All we have is consent. Okay, I can do anything I want with the people that I have the right to do it with, as long as they are giving me consent. Really, it's that simple. Really, it's not. That should be that basic. But we're going to keep seeing cases like this. There's another case I'm going to be dealing with here shortly about a guy who had his wife murdered so he could go off and, even though he was a complete, a liar and everything, he could go off and live with his slave and another girl. Okay, I've already dealt with what happens if you find BDSM after marriage. This is just that extent taken all the way to its limit, where somebody actually was killed. Okay, you can't live this life that way. You have to be open. You have to be honest. You have to be real with everybody you're involved with, and sometimes to your benefit, sometimes to your deficit. But the bottom line is, it's better to be out there, be truthful, and be honest, and get the consent time and time again, just to make sure everybody's on the same page. Because one little mistake, you go end up in jail. So, that's it for now. Check the links below, do all that other stuff. That's it for now. Be well and safe.